You are listening to Just Roll With It. Jonathan is your lore master. Christine plays the channeler Amena Valare. Neil plays the Ogier Quercus, son of Ilex. Aradia plays the channeler Pimur Dothorin Akel. And Fate plays the Child of the Light, Lance Akashi.
Last time, the crew was about to haul butt south back towards Dal Sherandu when Pimur and Amena decided they were going to investigate those gunshots that you had heard last time. And you ran over and you encountered Lyle, the lute player from the mine, and he had been mortally wounded, but you managed to keep him stable just long enough to get him back to the cart and get some information from him. There is apparently a large force moving towards Dal Sherandu, this chosen of the shadow group, or whoever they might be, being led by someone who has taken the name of Knife of the Power, who apparently wears a dark black cloak and has a silver sword on their collar. And there was much consternation.
Yeah. And then Lyle died.
And then
while we were debating how to ensure that he
just sort
died.
of naturally passed while everybody was deciding exactly how far they were willing to go with trying to keep him alive.
I remember we coined the term pillowing. That was a moment that happened. And by we, I mean Quercus.
Mm-hmm. Not the route you would expect the humble Ogier to take, to be like, nah, we just need to snuff him out, yo. But the problem has fixed itself.
It's just being logical, basically.
Yeah, so it's now... So are we going to pick up at evening and Lyle just expired, or next morning because we camped?
Evening, Lyle just... literally, he has died. He has expired, and Lance has been needing some recovery because he got his ass whooped by the chosen of the shadow. So you were deciding on watch rotations and who was going to do what as you rested.
Okay. Well, I'll take first watch, and preferably not right next to this corpse. We should move the corpse from where we're camping. That's just nasty.
All right, I'll take second watch.
I will take third, since Lance doesn't seem to be particularly interested in taking watch at the moment.
I'm kind of out cold, so, you know.
Yes, you look very unenthusiastic.
Not interested.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Right, I will join you in the land of sleep.
All right, so first watch, can I please get a perception check?
I can navigate Roll20. Wow, okay, I can definitely navigate Roll20. 13.
Okay, so a 13. So, with a 13, everyone kind of beds down for the night, and you still smell the smoke from the way station, so it's a little off-putting. Nothing seems to be weird, but it's very quiet. It's overcast. The whole atmosphere is very oppressive, but it's not like there's no reason for it to be oppressive. You're not sure if it's you or if it's what's been going on.
Right. And is it like quiet, like all the large animals are quiet, like that sort of like creepy quiet that we've been experiencing for like nights?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I should probably not go wandering off into the woods twice in one day. So I will simply go and wake up Amena gently, and with not having Ashendari bite my hand off, because Ashendari is very protective of Amena's sleep.
He is, because he knows that I like to sleep.
Yeah, but you still said you take watch, so I'm able to sneak in past the guard dog and shake your shoulder and It's your turn for watch. I don't know. It just feels weird, but how could it not feel weird at this point?
Yeah, and I just kind of like stretch. Oh, is it my turn already?
Yes.
All right, and I'll just get up and maybe splash a little water on my face, try to wake up a little bit, and sort of look around and try to get a sense of whether or not anything's changed. So I'll do a perception check.
Yes, please.
A natural 1. I am not awake yet.
No.
I'm still kind of sleepy.
There's no calf on the fire. There's no nothing.
There's nothing.
It's nothing.
Next time, maybe if, Pimur would be so kind as to sing me awake.
I don't know if that would help. I don't think Pimur can carry a tune. But
yeah, so clearly I'm not awake yet, so I'll just kind of like stare off into the distance and wait until it's time for me to awaken my Ogier friend.
Okay.
So I'll do so by like tickling his furry ears a little bit and be like, hey, wake up. Time to wake up. Wakey, wakey. No eggs, no bakey.
As you go to wake him up, the first heavy drops of rain start falling.
Uh-oh. May I borrow your cloak, kind sir?
Of course. What do you need it for?
I thought I would maybe craft like a little tent over the back of the wagon to keep the rain off of
that's
us.
a very good idea, yes. It's my watch, so you can take my cloak, and I will... we're underneath the trees, aren't we, John?
You can be very easily, yes.
Okay, so I will...
I assumed you weren't camping in the middle of the street, so...
So I will part ways with my cloak, which, remember, confers some added protections to the bearer, and I will bid you a good night and start wandering the camp. And I am specifically looking for any animal tracks, anything reasonably large that my eyes can make out, maybe even just bird tracks or bird droppings, animal scat, that type of thing, because I am also very aware of how quiet the forest feels. So I'm making concentric circles around the camp, gradually spiraling outwards, just looking to see if there are any signs of normality I can find.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a survival check.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, I just jumped like 3 feet in the air from that thunderclap.
good thunder.
7.
Okay, it's concerning to you. You find like an old fox den, perhaps, or something, maybe a badger hole, and there's nothing currently in it, and it doesn't look like it's been disturbed for a couple of days.
This is concerning me. The whole of the time we've been out visiting this way station, the forest has been unusually quiet, as if it's used to being disturbed by a presence it doesn't entirely agree with. I am going to, on a whim, see that there is no one around near the main road. I can't hear anything. I'm going to retrace the footsteps that I can clearly see, which are Amena's and Pimur's, and go and search for the tree that this fellow who decided to hop on his way last night, or yesterday, he was killed by, and then I'm going to see if I can find the footsteps that lead from that to where his attacker was hiding.
Okay, so we will say it's pretty obvious where they were trying to sneak, but they were being sneaky for humans, so you're still able to detect where they were walking. So you can find the tree pretty easily, and let's get another survival check to see if you can follow the other set of footprints.
15.
Okay, so the rain is heavy-ish, but it's not downpouring, and you do see indications that someone traveled to the southwest from that direction. So sort of in the direction of Dal Sherandu, but sort of off to the west.
Oh, okay. In that case, I will...
Are you going to try and follow them, or are you just going back to the camp?
I will try and follow them for 1 or 200 meters into the forest, or further into the forest, knowing that I can move stealthily at a normal pace for myself because I'm a natural explorer. So I will continue moving fairly rapidly at my normal Ogier clip, but stealthily, and tracking this set of footprints.
Okay, so you follow the footprints for about 120, 130 meters further into the forest, and right near the end of that, the impressions start to get a little deeper, and if the way the tracks are sort of laid out, whoever this person was started picking up speed and seemed to continue that same direction for longer, but they were going at a faster clip.
Were they running from someone or trying to get to their destination ahead of someone? Chasing someone, possibly. I didn't see any other footprints moving in this direction. Just one pair. Is that right?
No, there were two sets coming this direction, sort of from that general direction.
Yep.
You can see where it looked like two people were walking.
Okay.
Then they arrived at the tree where someone got shot, and then one set seemed to circle around and take back off into the forest.
I'm uncertain about this. My natural tendency before having encountered Pimur and Amena and Lance would have been to be cautious and thoroughly document what I've seen around me and then return back to camp. The other portion of me which...
Why did Lance get thrown under the bus with that?
Oh, this is because I'm comparing Ogier to all humans. Don't take any offense to this, Lance. You're very thoughtful in your own way.
Wow, in your own way.
Wow, okay.
Whew, you thought Amena was mean.
So...
Is it worse that Ogier doesn't mean it as an insult, or better?
I
Backhanded insults are my speciality. So the other part of me is raring to let loose some of this hastiness that I've been acquiring in leaps and bounds since meeting everyone in Dal Sherandu.
You're welcome.
It's a good trait. You need to have hastiness at times. Anyway, I reluctantly, the more slow of thought, deliberate side of me wins out, and I retrace my footsteps, but make sure that as I'm walking back to camp, I clearly bend grass and snap twigs to point in the direction of this either foe or miscreant that's been escaping, in case the rain washes away any traces of their footprints. And I'm sure I read about this in Loyal's fantastic recount of the Dragon Reborn, where he talks about warders laying some fantastic trails with twigs put through leaves and bent grasses and all this sort of stuff. So I'm really getting quite into this, laying a trail, and then I make it back to camp.
Done.
And yes, I'm relieved that nothing has befallen my compatriots. At least I assume it's not befallen my compatriots.
No, you get back and everybody's huddled in the wagon, and having used your cloak, which would be the size for, proper small tent for normal humans, they've managed to stay dry.
Excellent. Good stuff.
Good.
Right, and in that case, I will... Well, it's approaching morning now, isn't it? So I'll probably launch into some song and try and rouse everyone. I won't give you a demonstration of that, of course.
Fair enough. Okay, so it's probably 4 or 5 in the morning, and you are all awoken by the probably basso of basso crooning of a large Ogier waking everybody up, but not making calf.
No, Ogier don't make calf.
That's okay, because now I'm not dead or dying, and I will make calf because everyone kept me alive.
You make good calf, so I am all about you making the calf.
Soldiers make the strong stuff. We used to joke in the Navy, if the coffee's not strong enough to use to clean grease in parts. We didn't want to drink it.
You don't drink coffee.
I used to make it, though. I didn't drink it. But I could make it.
Oh, okay. I feel bad for your friends then.
Well, they also say that if you like your coffee black, you're a sociopath or a psychopath, which would explain a lot of the people that I served with. So, yeah, like Guinness thick black coffee. Like,
Gnarly.
yeah. Okay, so what's the plan for today?
Hightail it to Dal Sherandu? Because imperching army of doom and death and darkness?
Well, I'm going to update everyone on my findings and suggest that this set of footprints could be left by the chap who shot your friend who is now deceased. So I wonder, should we follow this set of footprints just on the chance that your friend was incorrect in his suppositions about this army, and that this guy is not really directly related to the army, and he doesn't have a huge amount of knowledge of what they're doing. He's just spinning you a yarn.
That's a good point. I mean, it's not like the four of us are going to stave off an army all by ourselves.
Very true.
Probably not.
What say you, Lance? Should we go adventuring?
Has everyone filled me in on the whole, like, army coming to kill everybody thing part yet?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where we're going. You know, Children of the Light has to warn Children of the Light versus one-off to people who have guns, where we've only got 2 guns by one person? And something...
But we have a lot of charisma.
True.
So...
I mean,
I'm just saying... That could get us out of some scrapes. And I have all of this.
Okay,
so
then...
let's not
then
forget. I could be a very useful distraction.
Well, I'm glad to know that someone else is willing to be cannon fodder this time. No, with that kind of conversation...
I'm not worried.
Are the tracks towards the general direction that we're already headed?
The tracks that Quercus would have found would have been going southwest. So if you look at a map of Malkir, the way they're going, they would be passing to the west of Dal Sherandu by, X amount of space. So they're not heading, it doesn't look like they're heading directly to Dal Sherandu, but they're heading in the general vicinity-ish.
So if we were to catch up to them, we could still dip to the side to make it there, or with landmarks, no, we needed to just stop following, cut over then.
Potentially. The only other complication to that would be that the tracks are going deeper into the forest where there's not necessarily a trail, and the horse and cart would be a liability at that point as opposed to a solid travel.
So there is a passage in the Natural Explorer section, which I'm getting quite keen on, which says, difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. So is that carte blanche? And I can just say, this is difficult terrain, we have a cart, but it's not going to slow our travel.
That's very vague.
Yeah.
He may be nice at IO gear.
Right.
I could see
cross that
how that
mountain
would...
range.
I mean...
The way I always took that one is, the forest well enough to help other people get through, but that doesn't stop trees from being too close together for a cart to go through.
Okay. Right, that's kind of where I was going to. On foot, that would easily count, because you'd be able to be like, hey, that's potentially quicksand, don't walk there, this is swamp, we'll go around this. But it's more difficult when you have an apparatus that you're trying to get into the same type spaces.
Okay, that's fair.
We could send half the party on with the cart and meet up with the group on the way to Dal Sherandu.
Which half of the party is going with the cart?
That's a good point. The smarter half? No. The sturdier half? No. I don't know. That's a good question. Which half is better for traipsing through? We could just let the horse go, but Lance probably doesn't want to lose a white cloak horse.
I would say the more heavily armed half should probably go with the wagon, because you're an easier target. And then the people who maybe don't have heavy arms should sneak on through the forest, because it'll be easier for us to hide us.
Yeah, that was very slick.
Yeah, I was laying it on pretty thick, so.
Your tracking skills are vested in one of the heavily armed group parts of the party. Me.
I say my Ogier friend and I should go traipsing through the forest, since apparently he is an Ogier scout who earned all of his patches.
Scout's honor.
Apparently so.
And the other two should take the cart.
That's probably a good idea, because then Pimur will know how to talk to the warder. I'm going blank on his name.
Tedric.
Yeah, and I'll have all of the white cloaks to be able to catch up on, and between the two groups, we'll be able to at least salvage something.
Yeah, I think so, because we can't just leave the cart, but we really should try to gather intel.
Yeah, because if you want me to pay you back, we can't lose this cart and horse, because then I have to pay it too. So...
Yeah, it's an expensive cart. It's got great suspension on it still. We don't want to trash it.
Well, we'll see when we get back.
Yeah, true. I'm a pretty terrible driver.
Says the one who taught me to drive.
Actually, I'm a good driver at speed. I just like going too fast to keep the suspension.
So
that's all.
The current plan is to have two of you in the cart and wagon go directly to Dal Sherandu. And are you trying to keep pace in the forest, or are the other two just splitting off entirely and going their own separate way?
Yes.
I think we should probably stay together, my Ogier friend.
Yeah, I agree. I also wonder whether it would be possible.
I think Pimur and I would...
Sorry.
I think Pimur and I would probably go as quick as we could to get there, where the other two would be trying to be sneaky and take their time, right? Maybe?
I think we're going to be a little bit more investigative in our approach, and not necessarily take our time, but really just try to see if we can spot any inconsistencies in the forest path and come across any clues and whatnot. But not stay too far behind in case you guys end up needing us.
Is it possible for you, Pimur, and you, Amena, to do some sort of fancy signal with that, like our friend who sends red lights into the sky? Could you replicate some sort of signal?
We could probably send up a fireball or something, like a fireball up
so
into the air.
if we do that every evening before dark,
I feel like...
or before we go to bed.
So we announce to the whole world where both parties are. I like it.
I say emergencies. That would be a good thing to do in emergencies. But I wouldn't announce to everyone exactly where we are every evening.
You may be right.
Yeah, I agree. But we could agree on like what color of sparkles we could send up above the tree line to mean look out, something's coming your way, versus come help me, I'm in quicksand.
Something's gonna attack, we need help, we made it safe.
So a sparkly smiley face if everything's fine, and like a skull
just
if it's not.
Just a giant sparkly poo emoji for help.
I don't know, as a novice, do I have enough fine control to make a smiley face?
I don't know what poo is, I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't know. I didn't know you had that much control over the source that you could create sparkles and whatnot and colors.
Well, I'm just thinking the little balls of light that novices make, and then the colored steam explosions from when Rand goes plowing into the one place with all the Ashaman. I'm just thinking just the raw power interacting, and it's not that much power. Whatever. I'm getting way too lost in power mechanics.
I'm just thinking,
sorry.
I don't think we're quite at the place that the Dragon Reborn was at when he did that. Because we're still just novices. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I don't personally feel like I'm at that level. But if you are, then get as fancy as you want to. And I'll just respond with a little fireball.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll just set something on fire, like a tree.
Hey, that's my job.
Okay, so who's going in the wagon?
There will be no setting of forests on fire, just for keeping in touch.
I'll just burn the trees that look like they're already dead. How's that?
So those will set the whole forest on fire?
Yes. The dead trees are less likely to resist being set on fire.
It's not a well thought out plan.
No. Let's just settle for an emergency signal, I suggest.
Oh, okay. If you insist.
Okay. But so any color other than red, and we will know it is not
Yeah.
the bad guys. So we'll be good.
Okay. And we
That
are
works for
only
me.
4 days from Dal Sherandu by road, so that provides some kind of estimate of the maximum time we should be taking.
So look for us at dawn on the 4th day. It was too good to pass up.
Callbacks.
I like it.
That seems reasonable. Lord Master, are you muted again?
I don't think so. Can you not hear me?
And yeah, he's
It's perfect.
dead to us by
It's
voice.
a little Easter egg.
Oh, not again.
He's dead to us. You are dead to us, Lore Master.
So while he's dead to us,
I know, maybe he can't hear us
Yeah.
either because we're kind of giving him a hard time.
More like he is death to us.
You have something in your beard, too. Fix that. Okay, you can hear us.
so while he's doing that, we should not use red for the warning because that's what the bad guys have been using the entire time. What if we did like
Yeah.
yellow or blue or purple or purple?
But I think theirs is like a big, like beam of red light, whereas ours will just be like little fireballs and stuff.
My beard is majestic, FYI.
I love how we
so I
got
have
my
nothing-
and then his mic cut out again.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it was literally
My what?
my.
Yeah, it literally died after one word.
Dude, I fucking hate your laptop. So much.
Yeah, Discord, we are crowdfunding a new laptop for Lawmaster.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but
Yes,
it
we-
sounds like you're on a different mic.
Yes?
No, I'm on. I just checked. I'm on the right mic. I had to swap. I had to change to my headset mic and then back to this mic. I think it's having problems with trying to run all the things. It's an older laptop. Older, not oldest.
I was to say, do I have to shame your laptop too?
No. And my beard is majestic. Thank you very much. So I'll have none of that.
I wanted to make sure you were paying attention. I figured that would get a reaction, and I was correct.
I think it's a good beard, Lawmaster. I think it suits you.
Yes. Okay. So, who is in the wagon and who is not in the wagon?
Pimur, Lance in the wagon, Amena, Quercus, and Puppy.
Ashendari.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ashendari.
Ashendari.
Ashendari, not Ashendari. Ashendari.
Ashendari taking notes. Where I will not see them.
Okay. So,
Whatever.
and with all of the discussions, are you trying to maintain close distance or are you basically just going?
The two groups are planning to go at two different speeds.
Okay.
Pimur and Lance getting there ASAP to get the information to prep everyone because then we can move on. The other one's not necessarily going slow, but keeping an eye and making sure they're not being ridiculous about walking into traps. Correct?
Okay.
Ridiculous.
I just wanted to make sure that I had everything set out before I sprung something on you that you were actually prepared for.
Yeah. Always prepared.
Okay. So,
To be confused.
funnily enough, the speed mechanics for horses and carts aren't detailed very much in 5e. So, honestly, you're not going to be going a whole hell of a lot faster on a horse and cart. If you were to separate the horse from the cart, you would go faster, but then you would have to leave the cart behind.
I thought it was an older, broken-in horse, so we were going, like, if normal walking pace was 35, we were going 40, I think is what it was.
Let me get...
It was something like that because I hadn't been trained on the horse, and it was docile enough for me and Amena to learn.
Oh yeah, the horse is definitely broken in and like an old cart horse essentially. But let me, because I believe walking at normal pace you can make up to 20 miles a day. Should have looked this up earlier. Okay, so a normal pace will get you 3 miles an hour, 24 miles a day. Fast pace will get you 30 miles a day. Slow pace will do 18 miles a day. If you go slow, you'll only do 18 miles a day, but you'll be able to use stealth checks. If you go fast, you take a penalty to your perception scores because you're hauling butt. So just to sort of keep that in your heads.
What do you think, Pimur? We were down this road like 3 days ago. The only thing we came across were the Tinkers, and we're trying to get the message as quick as we can. So we definitely don't go slow, but do we go normal or do we go quick? Since you know horses and whatnot, I just know how to keep track of information.
I mean, how attached are you to this cart?
I mean, do you want to get paid?
Wait, so we separated because the cart couldn't get through the forest, and now you're thinking of ditching the cart even though you're going on the road?
No, she's thinking about it. Lance is not going to ditch this cart for anything. Sorry,
Yeah, seriously. Nice. All right, we'll take the damn cart. I think we should go... Fuck, I forget what the trade-offs were already. Sorry. I was too busy making snarky notes.
Basically, if you go fast, there's a penalty to your perception for seeing things.
Because we stop looking around, we just look at the road.
I think we should keep our eyes open, because the last thing we want to do is come running up on the ass end of an army and alert them to the fact that... there's two of us.
So go the normal pace, then?
Yeah, I think we should go the normal pace. Should keep our eyes open a bit.
Okay, so at a normal pace for the cart and a normal pace for Quercus and Amena, you're going to be diverging a little bit, but you're not going to be that far apart distance-wise. Probably a half mile, maybe a mile at most, just based on how fast the horse and cart moves versus how fast I'm assuming Amena and Quercus want to move if they're trying to be a little bit more investigatory and not just marching through the forest.
Yes.
All right. So with that all decided, you're able to separate and you can go off your own individual, group ways. Why don't I get 2 perception checks from everybody, and we'll just sort of, as opposed to doing this like a minute by minute, we'll say it's sort of a general every few hours process.
Mm-hmm. Lance got an 11 and a 14.
Okay, I got a 14 and a 7.
I got a 16 and 13.
And I got a 5 and a 16.
Okay. Quercus will notice that there doesn't appear to be... And are you... More clarifying, are you following the tracks, or are you just sort of paralleling the road, going a different direction, or going the same direction?
Very different. We're very definitely following the tracks. So if the tracks start zigzagging, we're not wanting to miss them. We're going to diverge from the road if we need to.
Okay, so as you're following the tracks, you will notice that the degree that you're separating from the road is getting greater as you're marching, right? So, I'm using my hands here so the listeners can't see, but as the wagon is presenting south, the distance angle is getting greater and greater away as you're going, and it looks like somebody's running. You find the spot, and it looks like someone was running. And 300 or 400 meters further on, you begin to see traces of what look like other footprints from other directions. And they seem to merge into a group, and they continue on more south than southwest, but still sort of in that south-southwest direction. And they are all appearing to be like they're at least jogging. It's not a full-out sprint, but it's a pretty quick pace.
Okay. Amena, do you think these look like human footprints or some other bipedal organism?
Squirrels, perchance?
Shut up.
You're not here. You can't take part in this conversation.
You turned down this opportunity.
Sorry.
I think so. What do you think?
They look human to me, but they're slightly larger than I would have expected for a human. That maybe their running speed is enlarging them, but I can't be exactly sure.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really a good judge of this. I didn't grow up studying footprints or tracking things in the woods. I was kind of hoping that you would be more skilled at this.
Well, I have some wood knowledge, that's for certain. I just wanted to get a second opinion on these things. I mean, I can't really think what else it would be, but we have seen those fake Trollocs with the group living in the pit out. And these look slightly smaller to me, but I'm not sure.
I mean, that's true. I thought from that stupid-ass book that Pimur carried around that Trolloc feet were more like animals, that they were like hooves and things like that, and these don't look like hooves to me.
You're right. You are right.
I do know a lot about horses, and I have spent a lot of time with horses because my family had a lot of horses, and these do not look like quadrupeds to me or, anything like that.
Okay. I agree. I had forgotten that all of the Trollocs we hear about had some form of non-human footprint. Okay, I'm sure these are human, but just going slightly faster than normal, so they're making larger indents. They were moving rapidly, though, so I think we need to keep on at a fair pace if we're to keep up with these folk. Okay.
I agree.
So, is there anything else that we spot along the journey, Lawmaster? Like any bits of fabric like we found before, or anything else that might indicate whether these are the humans that were with the guy we found in the woods?
There's nothing specifically to say either way, but you do notice that there's damage to surrounding trees. So it looks like maybe where a branch stuck out into the path where they were walking, as opposed to walking around it, they just sort of like bluntly hacked at it to move it out of the way. So you do see evidence of passage like that, sort of continuing the idea that they were in a hurry. Instead of altering their path whatsoever, they were sort of just walking forward and taking care of whatever was in their path. But you don't find any scraps of fabric or any sort of detritus that would indicate who they were one way or the other.
Okay.
Pimur and Lance, besides getting stung in the face with continued rain, you don't see much of anything. The road is mostly dirt with some large rocks and poorly irrigated, so there are standing pools of water that you're kind of having to start to splash through, and it's getting sort of soupy and muddy, but other than that, you don't see anything specific.
As we come up to some of those puddles and stuff, I'm going to make sure to like giddy up the horse so that it makes really big splashes.
And I laugh like the 12-year-old boy that I am, because obviously that's awesome.
And I would never let you do that, so enjoy.
Ironically, it gets mud on his cloak, which is one of your apparent primary goals in life.
I know.
And you're not here to witness it.
So sad.
I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm going to hide the mud stains.
It'll cover up the blood stains from when I wiped my hands all over his cloak earlier.
I'm so glad that it's muddy and I didn't notice that first.
Me too.
Yeah, 'cause, it's all just you just need a laundry day at this point. It's all around needing of laundry. So we don't see any. Yeah. So we don't see any evidence of like a force moving ahead of us or slaughtered tinker wagons or any evidence of baddies.
You don't see anything yet, no. You've only traveled with 4 perception checks. We'll say it may have been an hour, 2 hours tops. So you're getting a couple of miles down the road, but you're still fairly close to where everything happened. So
Okay.
Is there anything specific anybody wants to do, or are we just I can sort of fast forward the time frame and continue this?
Yeah, let's fast forward and get going.
Okay. So why doesn't everybody give me one more perception check?
Can I embrace the source and then do perception with advantage?
Absolutely. Do you want to try and roll for it to have it now, or do you want to do the ritual thing where you meditate for 5 minutes?
Yep, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Lance got a 12.
And I got 15.
I got a 13.
Can I roll now or do I have to wait?
No, yeah. It's a mystical 5 minutes. It has now occurred.
Okay. 13.
So, once again, you're still able, at this point, Quercus, you're kind of able to point out the distinctive features, you're pretty easily able to identify the markings, and they're not diverting from their path at all. They're continuing on. And it looks like, as you're looking at the tracks, and some of them are starting to fill with water from the rain, you're guessing that this group probably passed through here sometime in the night when everybody was sleeping. So they probably have a night's start on you, but the trail is fresh enough that you're still able to follow it. And as you continue on through the rest of the day, the tracks do eventually take a quick swerve, and they bounce back again towards the road.
Do we know why they swerved? Is there something there, or?
That's a survival check.
Okay. Can I roll that with advantage too, or no?
Not survival checks, no.
If anything, being an Aes Sedai makes you so reckless, it should give you, like, disadvantage on survival.
Why did you say that? Now I just rolled a nat 1.
Oh, no!
You suck.
The dice spot hurt me.
All right, Quercus, can you can you roll a survival check, please?
With pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm also, if you don't mind, going to send Calicidus on in the direction of the tracks and see if he can, or she can spy anything.
Okay.
I got a 14.
Okay, so with a 14, it's very odd. It is very... You watch as the indentations start to lighten, and then you just basically get the impression that they stood still, and then they immediately altered course. So whatever they were doing, they were running, and they were running at a hefty clip, and then they slowed down, they stopped, and they altered course towards the road. And Pimur and Lance, as you are continuing on down the road, you look up and to your right, and you see Calicidus kind of continuing on almost parallel to you. And then she takes a dip into the trees and comes back up and swings around and begins to fly back into the forest.
Is that Calicidus, do you think, Lance?
Well, it's not a chicken.
This is true. Good job with the farmyard animal identification.
No, I'm just looking at my perception, like seeing that far away, I can see there's something flying.
And with your perception scores, you begin to smell wood smoke.
Like campfire wood smoke or like burning building wood smoke?
Like campfire wood smoke.
Okay, from what direction?
From the south. It's kind of coming towards you.
Okay. What time of day is it now?
By now, since we've been doing you've been traveling, it's probably late afternoon. You're probably looking at 4:35.
I think maybe they're stopping to camp already for the night. It's kind of early, but it's an army.
Well, not only that, but it's raining though, so if they found a good spot, I could definitely see someone camping now.
We should probably go slower, but keep going. Try to get closer.
Do one of us want to, like, sneak ahead?
That might be better. The wagon is a little bit rattly.
And Quercus, as you are waiting, Calicidus comes back and deposits in your hand a piece of charred burnt wood.
Oh. Thank you, Calicidus. A campfire?
Ooh, what's that?
Do you think it's a burning log from something, but a building, or it looks more like a campfire ember to me?
Should we smell it?
It definitely smells of campfire.
I'm so glad he didn't burn his little talons.
Oh, yes. She's not dense. She has some intelligence about her, Calicidus.
Oh, is she? I'm so sorry. I beg your pardon, Calicidus.
It's okay. So, two options. The way the tracks suddenly disappear off back to the road, do you think they were either deliberately coming this direction to lead someone astray, hoping that we would track them and then get lost and, they would get away, or, and maybe they received some kind of signal, possibly one of those red light signals, and then changed direction in response to that, or any other ideas you have?
Well, I think had they seen the red light signal, we probably would have seen it too. Something that far up in the sky, I think.
But would they have been
we may have noticed, because they're not that far ahead of us, I don't think.
That's true, but they could have been travelling at night when we were... Oh, wait. No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? No, forget that. That's a good point.
I don't know. Maybe there's something that they're moving towards. I mean, is it possible that there was some sort of supply train that was supposed to be coming down the road that they're aware of, and so they're cutting over towards the road to head it off? I mean, I can't really think of any other reason why they would cut towards the road unless they want to be seen, but why would they want to be seen if they're trying to make a sneak attack?
Yeah.
That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So there must have been something there that drew them off to the side.
That they weren't anticipating,
Or that they were trying to take by surprise.
Oh, I see what you mean. They deliberately went a lot further to the side so they could come back. Yes.
Right.
I think I agree with you. Let's carry on, I suppose.
Let's carry on.
This would suggest it's still hot. It suggests that they aren't too far ahead of us, so maybe we'd better put our stealthy pants on. I don't know what they are. I've just made them up entirely.
I mean, I have my sassy pants on now, but I guess I can switch into my stealthy ones.
I think we could have a balance of me in stealthy pants and you in sassy pants, just in case we confront them and we need some of your...
I think that's a very appropriate balance.
It might benefit us for the Ogier to get out of his sassy pants.
I kind of like the Ogier being sassy because it takes some of the heat off of me for my mouth, so...
But think of the embarrassment of me taking off my pants in the open. I would have to go behind a bush or something.
Oh, yeah, no, please don't. At least let me turn around.
Would be very improper.
It's not that kind of story.
Just wait. It'll happen once the show comes out. That'll happen.
Roll for perception.
Oh, God. No. I'm gonna weave air to blind myself.
Yes. I didn't eye bleach weave, thank you.
Okay, so
I'm not a brown, I don't need to know everything.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm not a green, I don't need to...
Apparently Lance knows nothing since he tried to wake me up in the morning by blowing on my earbrows. Not earbrows, my ears. Those are a fairly sensitive part of an ogier's anatomy.
Oh, good God.
Wow, I didn't know that was an erogenous zone for an ogier,
Yes,
but
indeed.
I'll be sure to file that away.
Yes.
It's part of the whole marriage scene.
Listen, I didn't read all of that stupid book of yours. I just looked at the pictures, so I'm sorry.
Pima didn't read it all either. She just read the smutty parts.
Yes, he did.
Sorry.
Okay, first of all, he was the selective reader. Aradia is the one who read it way too many times. Pimer definitely looked at the cool pictures and then closed it.
Right.
I'm learning so much about our group, and I'm not even involved in this.
Neither is Pimer, actually.
So, Pimer's into guns and sex, which makes me think you're a 16-year-old from the Midwest.
Shrug emoji?
So
I'll leave that one alone.
You stop besmirching the Midwest, mister. Or I'm going to start picking on your beard again.
So we are going to go back towards the road, following this trail, which has suddenly changed direction, and we are prepared for a fight.
Yeah, so thankfully I'm already embracing the source, and so if something pops out, I think between the two of us, hopefully we can protect ourselves at least, if nothing else.
Good point.
So Lance and Pimer, as you're continuing further south in the wagon, you look over to the right, and you eventually see Amena and Quercus, barely in the trees. So whatever trail they were following has altered back towards the road. And as you both groups, as you continue over the next 15 minutes, the smell of wood smoke gets more intense, and now you begin to smell cooking meat.
Oh, boy.
What direction were those tinkers traveling? Do you remember?
Were they going south?
We were crossing paths with them, so whatever way we were going, they were going the
Oh, so maybe they were going north?
They were going to go...
But they had weird eating habits too. So if we're smelling,
Right.
could that be them? Because, I mean, there's Quercus and Amena, but I don't want to call out to them yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true, but don't you think Ashendari would have picked up their scent? And I'm going to look at my dog and just...
Remember to ask the dog if it sees anything.
No, I'm not. Obviously, I'm not going to ask my dog, but I'm going to look at him and see if his body language has changed at all, or if he's just sort of like hanging out with us.
He's inquisitive. He obviously, his nose is going. He smells the wood smoke. He smells the meat, but he doesn't seem to be reacting to any familiar smells of any kind.
All right. Well, we don't know that, but it's a fire. Those two are obviously being sneaky.
Sorry.
Pimur, do you want to be sneaky, or do I go sneaky in my bright white cloak that is now being washed by this rain, so it's white again and not red?
Well,
sorry.
If I can manage to get the source, I'll be much more perceptive than you. So there's that. I could take my minute and attempt to get my extra perceptiveness on and go sneaking off into the woods and see where this meat smell is coming from.
So at that point, I'm gonna pull the horse and cart off to the side and just start checking my equipment, because it was basically a day of doing nothing, and I'm waiting for Pimur to get his ass back here.
Okay.
I'm gonna take my 5 minutes, do my ritual casting of holding the power, so that I can go sneaking off into the woods with maximum
Okie dokie.
That's the best loophole ever, by the way. I love it.
I can only maintain it for 15 minutes, so it's a little bit of a short duration thing.
I'm trying to balance as best we can.
Yeah.
So you are running off into the woods. Amena and Quercus, you would see Lance pull the wagon to the side and Pimur sort of hop off and take off. Do you go with? Do you go to the wagon? Do you continue along the trail?
Right, so we can see them on the road, but we can't, or we can see them coming off the road, but we still can't see this camp ahead of us.
Yes. So, at this point, you're basically, I'm going to use my hands again here for the listeners. They're pulling off the road. They're a little bit sort of parallel to you at this point, and the camp is further south, and the path has diverted almost to the road where you 20 yards in front of you, as you're following the path, would be the actual road. So whatever camp is probably along the road just further south, and you haven't gotten there yet.
So if we're driving and we come up to a Y, it's the exact opposite. We're coming from the Y into a single lane?
Essentially, yeah.
What about if I sneak off to the left-hand side, so I'm paralleling the road but further behind it? You carry on down this trail, and so we can surround them on all sides. Or should we not be splitting up at this point?
Am I seeing them as I'm heading into the woods?
You would have hopped off the wagon and seen them to your right as you would, sort of taking off ahead of them. So you're sort of slightly ahead of them now.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking off because I just want to see what's up. I'm not trying to get in trouble. I will let them choose what they're doing, but I'm just on my own mission to see what's down the road.
So, Amena and Quercus, are you trying to keep up with Pimur, or are you just continuing to follow the tracks?
Amena, what do you suggest?
I mean, I'd kind of like to touch base with Pimur, at least to see if we're noticing some of the same inconsistencies, and then maybe break off again after that.
Okay. That sounds sensible.
So, yeah, so I'm gonna head over and try to meet up with Pimur, just to kind of compare notes really quickly.
Okay.
Hey, Pimur.
Ah, what? Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right there. I
calm
forgot.
down.
I'm
You're so jumpy. Have you been drinking Lance's coffee again? Calf? Whatever it's called.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So we have been going through the woods and we found some footprints, and it sort of looked like the footprints were of men running, or jogging at least. And then all of a sudden they veered off toward the road, but we could smell the campfire. And then Quercus's bird came back with a little bit of charred wood from what seemed to be a fairly fresh campfire. What have you guys noticed? Anything strange or what?
We just smelled campfire, and now we're starting to smell cooking meat. So I thought if there's someone ahead of us setting a campsite, then I'd go up ahead and see where they're at and see who they are, because I'm hoping that they're the Tinkers and not the army. But either way, I don't want to announce our presence early, so I left Lance back there with the wagon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I left Quercus in the woods. I just thought I would zip over really quick and touch base with you. So I'm going to head back, meet up with him again, and then if you need me, just send up, a ball of fire.
Okay, yeah. Otherwise, I'll see you back at the wagon.
Okie dokie.
Go see what I can see. Bye.
Okay, so Pimur, as you are percepting your way through, why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check with advantage?
13.
Okay. As you continue through the woods, you begin to see translucent trails of smoke drifting about the trees. The smell of roasted meat is strongest now. You see, it's not quite a clearing. It's mostly just a clear space along the side of the road where a large pile of wood has been gathered together and lit. You don't see any spits or other ways for meat to be safely cooked. A pile of
Logs?
cut and shredded detritus wood.
Detritus wood?
Okay. Like a slash pile as opposed to a wood pile for, feeding a wood stove.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Okay.
What is detritus wood?
Like deadwood, driftwood. I don't know what the right term for it is, but just...
Yeah, I think so.
I'm thinking slash pile, like Pacific Northwest, logging slash pile. I got 8 for investigation.
Okay. You approach the pile, and you're really smelling cooking meat. And this is I think like a burn pile-sized pile of wood. It's not a small campfire-sized pile of wood. And it's mostly died down. It's not super active, but it's still smoking, so it's smoldering. So it's been 12 to 24 hours since this was lit.
I have such a bad feeling about this.
And there appear to be logs. There appear to be other bits and remnants of wood. And with that, as you're approaching the wood pile to sort of check it out, your foot kicks something. And as you reach down and look, it is a small fragment of wood that is painted bright green.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna pocket the wood, because there's my proof, and then I'm going to, I guess, can I hear any sounds of life, of anyone still around at all?
You hear nothing.
Okay, then I want to circle around the wood pile and make absolutely sure that this is just as fucked up as I think it is.
Okay, go ahead and roll me another investigation check. Actually, no, let's go with survival.
Okay, well, if I get a natural 1, I'm going to be very miffed. 21. Okay.
21. Okay.
Nice.
So you make a circle. It's a very large wood pile. The smell of meat is super intense from it. And as you kind of make a big circle, you go across the road and you see disturbances. There is a single spot that has the remains of a stump or something put on it. And the stump is just covered in dried blood. And there are depressions in the dirt and grass that make it look like multiple people standing in some sort of line in front of this stump.
Oh, fuck. God damn. Okay. Is there any, sign of where the people went after this, after they committed this massacre atrocity thing? Is there a trail away from this site, other than the direction I approach from?
With a 21, you will see that there are footprints, and they appear to be consistent with somebody walking, or several persons walking, and they continue down the road for at least another 100 meters.
Okay. I want to look around again and see if there's any sign that, I don't know, someone put up a struggle, got away. Is there any other clues in the surroundings?
With a 21, I would say that if there were, you would have found them, but you don't see anything.
Okay. Can I go down their trail just a little bit?
Sure. Down, following the road down the path?
Yeah, following.
Okay.
Just a bit.
Okay.
And see, I don't know what I see. This is a very disheartening scene. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to keep following the bad guys.
You follow the path, and it appears they stay on the road. You keep walking 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters. At about 350 meters away from the site, some of the tracks appear to branch off and go back into the woods again, and some others stay on the road.
And are they at walking speed versus running speed?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I should go back to the group and let them know. But god damn it. Alright, I go back to the group. Hopefully I don't get lost on the way.
Pimo, what did you find? You look disturbed.
I'm gonna hold out my hand with the crispy bit of bright green paint and then go sit down by the fire and look very dejected. Because I'm assuming you guys sit down next to the wagon and just look dejected.
Tinkers?
I think the piece of speaks for itself. I didn't see anybody. I didn't see anybody alive. I saw tracks that headed off farther into the woods.
How many...
And I found that with a bonfire. Oh, and did I mention a stump covered in blood?
What?
It maybe slightly looked like everyone got ritualistically chopped.
Ritualistically chopped?
There was a line in the grass, and there was a stump covered in blood, and a huge bonfire.
What about the dogs? Was it was it everybody and everything?
Did
you see any bones?
I don't know, Lord Master, did I see any bones?
You didn't look too intently at the woodpile, but that's where the smell was coming from, so if you wanted to go dig through the woodpile, you could.
I think I probably wouldn't have, because that's just nasty. So.
How large was this woodpile? The Tinker group that we saw had many wagons. Was this that large?
Yeah, seemed like... I didn't look close enough to know if the dogs escaped or not.
I hope they did.
That was a lot of destruction.
Did you notice whether the area in the forest had... was it disturbed? Did it look like the campsite of a group the size of the Tinkers that we saw, or was it just an isolated wagon?
Lord Master, you said it was like a pile, so like more than one wagon's worth of...
It was, and sorry, I used the word burn pile. I'm a farm kid. Like, it was like, I've never been to a Burning Man style. It was a large pile of wood that was probably multiple wagons.
Like a bonfire?
Yeah, thank you. I knew there was a word. It's closer to a bonfire, yes.
Okay, so way more wood than just one wagon would have supplied.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how many there were, but it was more than one.
They were creepy as fuck, but I still feel really bad about that. Those poor people, they must have been so scared. I don't like these people that we're following. I think that they are really scary, and the sooner we can get to Dal Sherandu and warn everybody, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially if we could go straight to Kiara and see if there's anything that she could help us do. Like if there are any more Aes Sedai in the area who could come and really just help. I honestly don't think that the Children of the Light are going to be enough against these people.
Wait a second. We were tracking a small group of people. We weren't tracking an army.
Maybe they have something that we don't know about that gives them leverage over other people. I don't know, but I feel like we should be as prepared as possible. And the four of us are
small groups.
Not going to take them on if they were able to slaughter all of these Tinkers.
Well, in fairness, the four of us could have taken down all these Tinkers.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Tinkers.
Maybe. They were crazy Tinkers, though.
They were.
Fair.
I would like to look around this site in more detail to see if there are other footprints beyond the small group that we were chasing, just to see what kind of people we're up against.
Okay.
It was that way.
You take a break, Pima. You look... you don't look like you're in in the right mental frame to do anything at the moment.
I'm going to stare at my feet.
I'm going to ask Pimer to come up and join me up with the cart.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to hand you alcohol. Here, this helps.
Thanks, man. I spent all my alcohol on that asshole Lyle.
Yeah, it helps.
True that.
Popcorn?
Okay, so I'm going to follow the tracks.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a survival check.
7.
Okay, so the light is fading, and while you have good eyes, your eyes aren't that good. And so you are able to make out, if you're trying to just investigate the site in more detail, you do see what appear to be bones in the large bonfire stack. And there are lots of footprints, smaller footprints, larger footprints. Something happened here, but it's hard to tell who or what. And you see the same thing as Pimer. You do see the footprints that are sort of heading off down south. And depending on how far you follow them, you would also see that that some of them split back off into the forest.
So do we want to stay in the forest? Quercus, my friend.
I agree. These people seem very, mindlessly violent. I still cannot place who they are, whether they were this group who was with Lyle or whether they were someone else that happened to be shooting after Lyle. I couldn't believe the people we saw in the mine were this wantonly vicious, killing those tinkers. At the same time, we're only half a day behind them from the looks of it. Part of me wishes I could continue tracking them, at least try to locate where they're going before this trail disappears. I wonder if I could continue alone whilst the rest of you carry on to Dal Sherandu, and then once I find out where they're going, I can report back to you. Do you think the others would agree to that?
I mean, I'm wary of splitting the party up to begin with, but I think having you by yourself with no real way to signal us if you need help is probably a little bit reckless.
I think you're probably right. It just, you know what I mean, the trails. And I'll just blink at you, and I'm not used to that sort of...
Your ears are like...
Yes. That's not really the type of debate I'm used to. Anyway, I really am loath to pass up this trail because it will have disappeared by the time we get back here. This could be our only shot at finding these people. Let's go and join the others, and we can talk about this.
Okay.
So...
Hey, guys.
We lost Lore Master again, so we're just going to continue on with the conversation. What's up? Welcome back. What you guys... What else is going on? Because I'm trying to keep Pimer pretty out of it.
You guys can't find any good news at all?
We did. We noticed that some of the tracks are still going through the forest, so the two of us are going to keep along and follow that trail because we figured out that at least one of us needs to be able to signal the two of you if something happens, and if Quercus goes off by himself, it's going to be hard for him to contact the three of us. So how about if Quercus and I stay in the forest? Unless, Pimer, you would rather go with Quercus if you need a break from the road.
No. Pimer,
do you want to do that, or do you want to stay in the wagon and rest?
Honestly, I feel like I'm bonding with my Flask brother here.
Flask brother, that's great.
No, I really...
Wow.
That's the new...
Okay.
Yeah, realistically, I really want to go get these bastards. I want to do whatever will get us to punching them in their stupid, evil faces as quickly as possible. I don't really care which terrain it takes, as long as I can go.
I think you need to come with me, Pimer. You need a break from this and to focus on, to have something to take your mind off what's gnawing at it. And that can be tracking these people. There is another solution. And out of character, Lawmaster, how good at tracking could an eagle be?
What did you have in mind?
I just wondered whether we could send Calicidris off in the general direction of the tracks maybe ask her to circle around and do a fairly intensive zigzag, like quartering pattern for a few hours and then see what she comes up with.
I would say it's fully possible. You would have to make not an insignificant animal handling check. Eagles are proud and not necessarily keen to do as they're told, but she is also an animal companion, so you know there has to be some use, right? Like she gets something out of this relationship. So I would say make an animal handling check, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay. In that case, before we do anything else, I will make an appeal to Calusidris and see if she would be prepared to devote some energy and time to intensively tracking these foul humans that we are on the trail of. Bear with me, I must speak to her at some length.
Watching an ogre converse with a golden eagle is pretty entertaining.
And I'm just gonna like look at Lance and be like, dude, that popcorn smells really good.
Yeah.
May I please have some popcorn?
Look over and just be like, but only if you tell me who got blood all over my cloak while I was sleeping, and then I'm gonna hand you some.
Okay. So let me start off by saying that when that Lyle guy was like dying, I brought him back and asked him a very important question, and in the process got blood all over my hands, and it kind of grossed me out, and your cloak was right there, and I'm so sorry.
And I'm gonna kind of look back at the back of the cart and like, okay, I was sleeping on stuff.
I'm sorry.
Did we recognize Lyle?
Yeah.
Like, he came from... Okay.
Yeah, you did.
We did. We did a very successful history check on the existence of Lyle.
Yes. And so I'm really sorry, and may I have some popcorn, please?
Here.
I will clean your cloak myself when we get back. How's that?
Wow. She never offers to clean my laundry when she gets it dirty from shoving me into the bushes.
By hand?
I will ask someone to clean your cloak myself. By hand and with love, and they will iron it and starch it to your specifications.
Deal. Here's all the popcorn you want.
Thank you.
Okay, I need to let her get the cloak dirty more often.
Hey!
Who really won in that argument?
I think Amena did, but that's, it's okay.
So the animal handling check was 18.
18. Okay. And so you're going to have her go off in the direction of the tracks through the forest and just try and follow them for a little bit, or is she just tracking them, or is she specifically trying to do something else?
She's just tracking them for the moment,
okay.
And then if she spots any camp when they've next rested, then she can come back. Come back and report to us.
Okay.
And we could maybe rest along the side of the road where we are for a few hours just to see.
It's getting kind of dark and it's getting kind of late. So if that's something that, if you guys want to camp for the night, this would probably be at the time to start thinking about doing that. Or you could always just push on. It's sort of the time of day where you would decide whether or not you were progressing for the night or not.
Well, if they destroyed most of this and left it the way they did, they're probably not going to come back, so this is probably the safest spot for us.
Safe, yes, but getting on towards fixing the problem, not so much. And now I'm all haunted by visions of flaming tinker wagons that I didn't set on fire my own self. So I don't know if
So unfair.
Oh, right? If someone's going to set tinker wagons on fire...
Those bastards, they took the firing of tinker wagons away from you. That's like really where the outrage is coming from.
But if we start to travel on from here, when it's getting dark, and we come across them, we're SOL. Because now they're between us and Dal Sherandu, and this is a problem either way.
Unless we can create a wide berth around them and get to Dal Sherandu before they do.
Also,
and in order to do that, we should probably push them.
Calusidris is tracking them, so we would know about it if we were about to come across them.
That's true. I mean, I really feel like we should let Kira Sadai know about what's going on. I just have a feeling that she has experience in things like this. And would you be okay with me running up ahead and going straight to her?
I was thinking that sort of thing myself, or me waiting here by the trucks.
I mean, I have Ashendari with me, and he's not going to let anything happen to me, so...
Do remember that you've been traveling for about 2 days. You have about another 2.5 days left before you will actually make it to Dal Sherandu. So it's not like it's going to be a couple of hours.
Right.
When do we get to learn how to do gateways again?
At least level 5.
Fine.
Afterwards.
All right, I guess we could rest for the night.
Sleeping I'm gonna get in, but if you guys want to stop, I can do that.
Resting for the night might be a good spot to stop recording too, because we're almost 90 minutes.
Way to interrupt my ending.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry for not letting you cliffhanger
sorry.
this time.
How's it feel?
Who's sitting first watch?
I can't sleep. I'm gonna stay up first watch.
All right, roll me a perception check.
And I'm going to...
I can read the alphabet. 5. I am very disturbed.
Can I also be staying up for the first watch? Because I was going to challenge Pimur to a game of stones to take his mind off what's troubling him.
Absolutely. Go ahead and you can also roll me a perception check.
Getting my ass whooped at stones is why I got a 5. I don't know. I wonder if Pimur would be a good stones player.
7. Good or bad.
You're both very focused on the stones game, but about partway through the watch, so say 9:30 at night or whatever, you are both briefly distracted by a large red ball of light appearing in the sky to the southwest. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight, on my own goddamn terms.
You suck.
Oh, fuck. Guys, that is the attack on Dal Sherandu.
No, come on!
Taking bets now.
No.
I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not.
I hope you're wrong, too.
I think there are 2 different sets of people going on here.
I do too.
This is complicated.
That makes sense. Okay, let's kill recording.
And that is where we close the book for now. Come join us next time on Just Roll With It.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Are you enjoying Just Roll With It? Do you want to keep up with all of the shenanigans and updates and maybe interact with us online? Follow us on Twitter at @just_roll or Instagram at @justrowlwithapodcast with underscores between each word. Are you interested in maybe earning cool gaming dice or other awesome perks? Our Patreon is patreon.com/JRWI. We use Sirenscape for all of our sound effects and are a production of Fox and Raven Media.